So I'm Dr. Michael Tebbe, and
I'm Harrison Kuehn.
And we are your motion mechanics. So we're going to walk you through. I'm going to be doing the stuff. Harrison's going to be coaching you how to do it for yourself. The assessment. So ideally, do this before you start the program. Ideally, do it every month at the beginning of each month, and then do it all the way at the end of the program at a minimum. So record yourself when you're doing it. Have a stopwatch handy, and maybe have somebody else hold the camera for you. Anything else you want to add about how
I think you covered it. That was great.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is for you. Also, just know if you can't do it, like this is not something you should be getting down on yourself. The point of the assessment is not to do everything perfect or try to muscle your way through it, right? It's really just to see where you're at, to have an honest assessment of what your areas of needed improvement are. So just know this is for you to start developing awareness of yourself and your body, and where you can improve the most throughout the program. So looking forward to it.
Nice to see how you're making progress as you go through the program.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put Dr. Tebbe here onto the ground on his back. We're going to do what we call a little single leg midfoot bridge. So this is an assessment I use with a lot of my patients and clients to make sure that they're ready for doing ground activities, squats and hinges and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll have Dr. Tebbe start 1 foot at a time. Actually going to have you even scooch a little bit more down towards me, Dr. Tebbe, and like one more. Yeah, perfect. So you can get your feet on the ground. Okay, placement is important. I want Dr. Tebbe to be able to get both his heels up off the ground, just a little bit. Yeah, so maybe even a little further foot, so further away, because I want you to feel like you can just barely get your heels off the ground, okay? Perfect. So, and then the heels will come up. Great. From here, where it's really going to be a single leg test, so I'm going to have Dr. Tebbe bring his right knee up to his chest. Yeah, either one, because we're going to do both. And so he's got his right heel up here, his left knee up, and then all I want you to do, Dr. Tebbe, is I want you to lift your right hip just enough to swipe a credit card underneath. Perfect. Now we're going to do a 30-second timer here, and your goal here is to keep that right heel up and the right hip up, again, just enough to swipe a credit card underneath both of them, and you're trying to go for 30 seconds, okay? If you don't make it to 30 seconds, that's okay. If this is your first time doing this, you probably won't. That's fine. Try to see how long you can make it. All right, Dr. Tebbe, we got 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job. So we'll do it on the right, we'll do it on the left. Here comes the left heel, left hip. That is the challenge on this one. I mean, everything's challenging about this one, but being able to keep the heel and the hip slightly off the ground is very, very challenging to do both at the same time. So we're testing foot strength here. We're testing calf and Achilles strength here. We're testing hamstrings, back of the thighs here. We're testing a little bit of glute. So basically with your posterior chain, if you've ever heard of that before, that's what we're testing here. Dr. Tebbe, you've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great job. Okay, so that's our first assessment. Once you've done that, we'll come on up to standing. Dr. Tebbe here is going to use just a vertical pole for some support here. You at home can use kitchen countertop, really anything that's stable and not going to go anywhere. Doorway, right? Yeah. So what we're going to test here first is a squat depth. So I just want Dr. Tebbe to kind of drop down. He's bending his knees and his hips, coming sort of straight down as best he can, and he's going as deep as he can. Great job. Then he'll come back up. Maybe like 1 or 2 if you need to, just to kind of see. And now that he's found his depth, he's going to come most of the way to the bottom. He doesn't have to be like at the very bottom, but at like 3/4 of the way. And he's holding here. So we're trying to test and see squat endurance of the muscles of the legs, right? Dr. Tebbe can use the brace if he needs with his hands for a little bit of balance. But ultimately here, we're trying to see how long can you hold this deeper squat position. This is a very challenging thing. Ideally, we're looking for 45 seconds. That's where we'd like you guys to be. But again, just be where you're at. Like for Dr. Tebbe right there, that was about 30 seconds, right? And that's a little longer than 30, 40 seconds, but very challenging. So that's your squat depth. So check the depth first. Then you're going to go almost to the bottom. So you can come up a little bit from the depth and hold and see how long you can hold. Awesome. Next thing we have is going to be getting on and off the ground. This we want to see movement quality and speed. So Dr. Tebbe is going to start in a standing position. He's going to come down to hands and knees, and then he's going to work his way onto his side and onto his back. As soon as he's onto his back, he's getting right back up. same way he got up the first time, hands and knees, and nice job. Cool. So we're checking again to see movement quality. Are you able to do it first and foremost? Do you have any pain or discomfort, secondly? And thirdly, how long does it take you to do that? How agile and quick are you moving through these motions? Again, there is no like fail, if you don't make it through, that's fine. It's just about getting a sense of where you start. So by the time we're done with the program, we can see all the beautiful progress that we've made. Awesome. Anything to add to that, Dr. Tebbe?
No,
that's
I
good?
think that's great.
Great. All right. Next up, we've got a push-up. So Dr. Tebbe's going to get to the ground again here. Ideally, with this assessment, we want the knees to be off the ground, and we're just asking for halfway down. So give me a halfway down push-up, Dr. Tebbe. Perfect. And push back up. Awesome. You don't even need to hold at the bottom that long. Dr. Tebbe's showing off because he's very strong. But just a down and up, great job, Dr. Tebbe. Of course, if that doesn't work, you could also do it with your knees on the ground. But again, for the sake of the assessment, that's really the metric that we're trying to track as we go along the program. So once you do that, we'll be moving on to a little balance drill. So we're going to do a single leg balance. This is going to be with the eyes open. Again, just as simple as it sounds, just standing on one leg. And then you'll start a timer. Again, you can have a little, your phone in your hand if you want. You can have, a friend or a spouse or a loved one time you if you want. But again, you're just going here to see how long you can go for, basically. So if you touch down after 5 seconds, that's fine. Again, just note that, right? Either write it down or, you'll have the video to look back on if you're videotaping. But ideally, we're looking for 60 seconds here. So we'll go the full 60 seconds here for Dr. Tebbe. He is 30 seconds in. For him, this is quite easy. Even though we have him on a pad, the softer the surface you're on, the harder this is going to be, excuse me. So if you're on a hard surface, this is going to be easier. If you're on a squishy surface, it's going to be harder. So as you're checking month after month, make sure you're doing it on the same surface. Okay, Dr. Tebbe, you've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. We're going to switch sides. And then, you'll switch sides. So surface matters. Make sure that you're testing it on the same surface month after month. Yeah. And also, if this is getting to the point where month 2, maybe, this is already starting to become pretty easy for you, you can also try it with your eyes closed and go for time on that.
And if you do it eyes closed, just to be safe, maybe do it in a doorway so you have something to grab onto really quick, just in case.
Excellent.
Just to be safe.
Good point. All right, next up, we're going to do a single leg squat, okay? So this is going to be challenging for many. You can also do it over here where we did our two-legged squat, so you have a hand on something. We would recommend that. But again, so it's balance meets squat here. Again, very, very difficult strength exercise. So Dr. Tebbe's just going to come down as low as he can. So we're just checking for depth here. We don't need to do the hold. We're just looking at depth of how comfortable, how able you are to come down on one leg. If that's not happening on the first month or before the first month, totally no worries. We want to get a sense of where we're at with that. Okay, then we're going to go through like sort of a general spinal movement assessment. So Dr. Tebbe's going to start with a toe touch here. On the toe touch, just soft knees. You don't need to lock them out really hard, but you're just kind of here. We're just kind of looking for gross movement here, general movement. And then Dr. Tebbe is going to do a backward bend. So his head's going back, his chest is kind of puffing forward, his hips are coming forward a little bit. Then Dr. Tebbe, face the camera. Let's do a side bend. So he's side bending right, letting his right hand go down his right pant leg. Same thing on the left. Awesome. And then we'll do a rotation here, twisting right.
So get your thumbs in your chest. You kind of...
So you're not overstretching your arms, you're keeping your arms along your ribs, right? Yeah, awesome. All right, so that's our general movement assessment. And again, for that, we're just looking for discomfort. We're looking for range of motion. Those are the main things. We just want to see over time, are we getting more mobile? Are we getting more comfortable with those movements, right? Awesome. Next is going to be shoulder flexion. So Dr. Tebbe here is just going to go hands up overhead, one at a time here, or both at the same time. Just looking for how, again, same thing, range of motion, how comfortable is it? Are we able to get up? Are we using a lot of like low back? Maybe show them what a really like low back strategy would be. Right, so here you can see Dr. Tebbe's not really moving through his shoulder to get this range. He's moving mostly through his spine here, as you can see. Or sometimes, you'll see elbows bend, stuff like that. Right, so we want to have a pretty straight arm here and just see, again, the goal is not to get your hand pointing straight at the ceiling necessarily at all costs. It's just to see how well the shoulder moves, right? So if you can only make it here without the spine moving, that's fine. Just note that. You have that on video, and like I said, you can take notes on that as well. All right, and then we're going to do a back stretch essentially, or just mobility assessment here. So Dr. Tebbe's going to put his arm behind him, and essentially we're looking to see if you're going to do it on video. It's good to do it where you're facing away from the camera here, so you can see how far he can get it up his back, and then he'll go to the other side, and you can compare bilaterally. But again, for many people, especially with shoulder issues, this movement's going to be pretty uncomfortable. So we just want to get a sense of your ability to do that, and of course, range of motion as well.
Be gentle with it. Don't force it.
Right. Yeah. Again, the goal is not to go absolutely as hard as you can on these. It's just generally, what is my body allowing?
Yeah. Just put a mark in the sand.
Yep. All right. And then the final assessment here, the 10th and final assessment, is going to be the standing hip flexion. So it's basically just a march here. So Dr. Tebbe, show us that. Obviously here we're looking at a little bit of balance, of course, and we're looking at hip range of motion here. So this is one, exactly, yep. So we'll see a lot of compensatory movement here where, we're either hip hiking a ton or rolling the pelvis under or, doing all sorts of things, moving our head, moving our ribs. So again, don't go crazy with it. Just how high can you get that knee up, keeping everything else the same. Of course, if you need to put hands on something, you can have a hand off to the side on a countertop, in a doorway, whatever you need. Safety first always. Yep. But once you make it through these assessments, this is a great way to kind of get a sense of where you're at. And then again, come back to this. We will definitely do this at the end of the program and see where you're at. Anything to add, Dr. Tebbe?
Yeah, and just as you're going through life, as you're going through the program, just notice, just let life kind of show you, be your assessment. Because the things that you're doing throughout your life, you should find that they just get easier. Maybe when you take that walk and climb the hill, it's just easier to climb the hill. You don't get tired as quickly. Little things like that. So if you just start paying attention to your body, that'll give you cues of how your strength and mobility is improving.
Very profound, yeah. As they say, what gets measured gets improved. Enjoy.